welcome back to my channel. Today, holy glare, I am so sorry. Still waiting for my contacts to come in. Today we are going to be breaking down and reacting to Friday the 13th, the 2009 reboot. Or remake. It's not really, yeah, anyways. I watched this movie way back when. Initially, only because Jared Padalecki is in it, okay? Not gonna lie. I watched it for Cute Boy, okay? Because I have never been, and I've said it on here many, many times, I'm not a fan of remakes. I'm not a fan of sequels in general, okay? I watched this strictly for Jared Padalecki. And because of him, I truly wanted to love this movie. I hated it. I hated this movie the first time I watched it, okay? However, I went back and watched it a couple of times and grew to like this movie, okay? It has been years since I've seen it. So rewatching it today was something. I was taken aback a few times, okay? I thoroughly enjoyed it, I will say that, okay? But we're going to talk about it. So first, let's just jump right on in. This movie actually has a very long cold open, which I totally forgot about. This has got to be the longest cold open that I can think of that I've ever seen in a movie. June 1980, of course it's Friday the 13th, where a young Jason Voorhees watches his mother Pamela get beheaded by a camp counselor who is trying to escape Mrs. Voorhees' murder spree around Camp Crystal Lake. Moving almost 30 years, we meet 5 friends, 4 of which do not matter at all, okay? They do not matter at all. The only one we care about is Whitney, okay? These 5 friends arrive for a camping trip at Crystal Lake, where they hope to find a crop of marijuana growing in the woods. It's very 2000s. Oh, my goodness. All about the Mary Jane. That night, grown-up Jason kills everyone but Whitney. He keeps her because she reminds him of his mom when she was young. In fact, Whitney and her boyfriend, earlier on in the cold open, go for a walk. They're talking about Whitney's mom, who I guess was sick, and she was taking care of her. She felt bad for going on the trip. Her boyfriend explains that it was her mother that said to him, take Whitney, go have some fun, blah, 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 okay? As they're walking around, they come across, I think it's like a camp house or something. And they find this locket, and this locket has a picture of Pamela Voorhees when she was younger, like probably around Whitney's age, give or take, right? And the boyfriend says, you know, this person looks a lot like you. You should keep this, which I don't know if she purposely does or if she just gets distracted by something he finds elsewhere in the house, but she has the locket with her. And in my opinion, this locket saves her life. Just saying. Then we move forward, this time only 6 weeks. And we now truly start the movie, okay? We care about the upcoming characters. Well, some of them. As with any Friday the 13th movie, a lot of these characters are just a body count, right? So we now meet Trent and his girlfriend Jenna, and their friends Chelsea, Bree, Chewie, Nolan, and Lawrence. They all go to Trent's family's summer cabin, which is on the shore of Crystal Lake. Also arriving at the lake is Clay Miller. That's Jared Padalecki. He is Whitney's brother, and he is searching for her as it seems the local police in the area have stopped. Clay ends up... Okay, so before we go there, when we meet Clay, they're at this little, like, mom and pa store, right? And Clay is talking to the cashier with flyers, like tons and tons of flyers. He's looking for his sister. He's looking for Whitney. And he wants to put a few flyers up in the windows and whatever, right? And the guy behind the counter is very apologetic and very sympathetic and is explaining, you know, I don't own the place. The owner's a bit of a douche. He won't go for this, right? Meanwhile, Trent and Jenna are behind him, waiting for their turn at the cash register to buy their snacks and such, right? And Trent's being an absolute dick, saying, like, you know, can you move this along, blah, 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 like, come on, get out of the way, right? Completely ignoring the fact that homeboy's looking for his sister. His sister is missing, been missing for like 6 weeks, right? Like, just, he's such a douche. I hate Trent. I hate him. We all hate Trent, okay? Trent, bad. Clay ends up at Trent's cabin by happenstance, and Jenna offers to help him search for Whitney. Meanwhile, Chelsea and Nolan have gone water skiing, during which Jason kills Nolan with an arrow to the head, which is actually the sound that this makes. Oh my God. Yeah. It was crazy. And then stabs Chelsea in the head with his machete. There's a little bit more to her death scene. She gets hit by the boat because driver dead. And she's stupid. Okay, she could have gotten out of the way. She didn't. She deserved everything that happened to her, I'm just saying. And of course, I will say, when she gets killed, she's like under the dock, and Jason puts his machete through the dock into her, and of course pulls her up as she was water skiing topless. Of course she was, because it's a Friday the 13th movie. And Sean Cunningham would not let us down without having the obligatory, obligatory, it's like a full-blown titty shot. He pulls her up out of the water just so we can see her boobs before she dies. He lets her go. It's actually quite funny. I don't care what anybody says. It's hilarious. Jenna and Clay search the old Crystal Lake campgrounds, where they see Jason hauling a body into the abandoned camp house. This is where we see Jason in a much different way than he's portrayed before in past installments of the series. In this version of Friday the 13th, this version of Jason, he is not mindless. He's not supernatural. He's very much human. And he's very, very smart. He's portrayed in a much more human light. He's a survivalist. He sets booby traps all along the old campsite, and really kind of through the forest, mainly through the campsite. He plans things out more, as we see later on in the film. He is scary patient. And this Jason runs, like, homeboy hauls ass. Like, it's really, it takes you back how fast this guy actually moves. And when you consider how large this man is, like the actor, just saying. So yes, a very, very, very different Jason than we're used to. And I appreciate that. When he sees that, the other thing is that when he sees Clay's backpack, and he knows it doesn't belong there, right? So he goes and turns on all these floodlights that he's got set up around the camp area, and just like literally lights up the whole camp, right? And starts moving stuff around, looking for, people. He knows that there's somebody there that's not supposed to be there. He's like shoving canoes off the rack thingy, and they're hiding kind of under something similar. Like it's just like, yeah, I mean, a totally different Jason than we're used to. Totally. Jenna and Clay run back to Trent's cabin to warn the others about Jason. Meanwhile, Chewie is killed by Jason in the tool shed near the cabin. And I have to say, Chewie's kind of a badass, okay? He makes all kinds of little quips at him about, the hockey stick and completing his, he's playing hockey in the shed. Do you want this hockey stick to complete your look? Because he's got the mask and everything. And the actor himself, I have to say, is a total badass. He did that part. I did some digging around after I watched the movie, and he apparently had some kind of surgery. I think it was appendicitis or something. He had some surgery like that done just a few days before shooting. They actually had to wait to film his parts, his death scene, around this surgery. So as soon as he felt like he got like the doctor's okay to shoot, they filmed his scene, and I think it was the director said that they hung him upside down, because there's a part where you see his body upside down, and he's got his staples. And actually, I can remember a few years ago seeing an interview with the actor who plays Jason, Derek something or another. He said that there's a part where he stabs Chewie, and he stabs him like in the neck or something, and of course the blood comes through the mouth and everything. So when he bites down on the blood pill, as the scene's going, he starts choking. I believe you see it in the film. And so when they call cut, Derek's like, oh my God, like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And he's like, yeah. He inhaled it instead of spitting it out because he thought he would get it. But this guy went hard for his scene. I'm just saying. He was so happy to be there. Oh my goodness. Well, Trent and Bree, okay, so Chewie's killed in the shed, while Trent and Bree go off and have sex, and it's such an awkward scene. Oh my God, he's going on about her titties and her nipples, and it's just an awful scene. And he's such a douche. Like, it's, yeah, it's horrible. When Jenna and Clay arrive, Clay calls the police, after which Jason cuts the power to the cabin. Lawrence goes outside to look for Chewie, and Jason kills him with an axe. Jason then sneaks his way inside the cabin and kills Bree. A police officer finally arrives and knocks at the door, but is killed by Jason before he can enter. And this gives us a camera shot. The cinematography in parts of this movie are fantastic. This particular shot, when the police officer, he gets stabbed through the back of the head, through the eye, through the door, and then the camera does this pan kind of through. It very much reminded me of, and I'll see if I can, I grabbed a clip, I'll see if I can get it in here. It reminded me of a particular scene in The Collector. And I know they were done around the same time. I think this movie was done first. I tried to do some digging to find out. I think this movie was done before The Collector, so maybe The Collector took notes. But it's an awesome shot, and they both kind of do it very similar. I think the Collector's is better, not gonna lie, but it's a good shot. It's one of my favorite shots in this movie. Very, very well done. Trent, Clay, and Jenna escape the cabin and get separated. Trent is then killed by Jason when he's about to get picked up on the main road. He was kind of like this old man stopped in this truck, and his death is so satisfying. Jason finally kills him and then sticks him on the back of the truck, and the old man's like, fuck this, takes off with Trent stuck to the truck. It's great. It's a great shot. Jason chases Clay and Jenna back to the campgrounds, where Clay discovers Jason's lair and also finds his sister underground, chained to a wall. Clay frees Whitney, and the three try to escape as Jason arrives. They find an exit, but Jenna is impaled by Jason's machete before she can escape. And it's so sad because I'd forgotten about that part too. I thought she was one of the, I thought she was the finer girl. I actually thought that Whitney was the one that died. I was just heartbroken. I liked Whitney. Jason corners Clay and Whitney in a barn, and Whitney confuses Jason by pretending to be his mom. Very much in a callback to, I believe it was Friday the 13th Part 2, where, and I think her name was Ginny, pretended to be Jason's mom. Clay and Whitney subdue Jason with a chain, and Whitney stabs him in the chest with his machete. Once the sun rises, Clay and Whitney dump Jason's body into the lake along with the mask, and that is another very cool shot at the bottom of the lake. I'm hoping I can include it because it is a beautiful shot. Before they leave, and Jason breaks through the dock and grabs Whitney. And that is like the end of the movie. Now, I know there has been a lot of talk over the end of that movie. I think some say it's a dream, some say that, you know, he's still alive, like whatever. He comes in, he actually like takes her. I think it's just a nod. I think it's a nod because there are several times throughout this franchise where that is kind of the ending, right? And I think it's just a nod to that. And there are so many nods to other parts of the franchise, right? I have notes. I have separate notes. There is okay, so in the beginning, the original cold opening, I believe it is. Oh no, it's Whitney and her boyfriend find all these whistles when they go into the camp house. They find all these whistles from dead camp counselors. There's the sleeping bag scene. I can't remember which Friday the 13th that's from, but that's the one where Kane Hodder was in, and he beat her against a tree in the sleeping bag. There's a nod to that. We see a wheelchair down in the tunnels, which is kind of a nod to that young man that was in the wheelchair. He got the knife in the face and he goes down the stairs. I can't remember the numbers. I don't remember the numbers. What else? I talked about that. I talked about the surviving. I talked about the traps. Oh yes, he lines little bells and whistles and stuff all over the place, like little tripwires and stuff, to explain how he kind of teleports and pops up everywhere, right? He's got all these little foxholes and stuff, part of the survival stuff. It is so cool what they've done with this character. Little things like that. Very, 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 very cool. There was a funny scene where Lawrence was getting high. So he, takes a hit off his bong. And he decides that he wants to rub one out. And he's looking for inspiration. Finds something. Goes to do his business. And that's when Clay and Jenna come running in. And when he turns around and he's like, you scared me, blah, blah, blah. If you look, beside him is this wide-mouthed bass with its mouth wide open. And listen, I found that friggin' hilarious. You take that image how you will. I probably took it all kinds of very, very wrong, and it was just hilarious to me. And I think that was, oh no, I've got more on here. Oh, yes, Jenna's death was a surprise. Another surprise, which I found absolutely glorious, was Clay, when Jenna dies, when she gets stabbed, Clay's trying to save her. You can hear him. I even turned the captions on. He says, oh fuck no, or oh no fuck, something like that. He says fuck, and it makes me so happy to hear Sam Winchester say fuck. I'm just saying. My favorite part of this movie is the end, the fight scene between Clay and Jason. These men are huge, okay? They're ginormous. And I went looking after. Jared Padalecki stands at about 6'4", and Derek Mears, I think his last name is Sid Mears. I don't know. He stands at 6'5". Big men, and they're just throwing each other all over the friggin' place. Like, I mean, I have never seen a movie where Jason took on somebody about the same size. Like, usually, there's a couple of Jasons. Well, really one, I guess, where Jason looks kind of small. And I think it's Jason Lives. I think it's Jason Lives. Is that the one where he comes back with electricity? Tommy stabs him with a piece of the fence, and then the lightning hits it. That one. That's what I'm talking about. That Jason seems smaller to me. The other one is the one where it's not Jason, it's the paramedic. Which makes sense because the paramedic is a smaller dude, right? But this one, where they're actually about the same size, it was just visually very woo. And yes, the other thing I put was the worst line in the movie said by Whitney. Horrible line. Something like she stabs Jason or pushes him, or she does something to him and says, say hi to mommy in hell. It's so bad. It's not the actress's fault though, it's just a bad line. It sounds good saying, right? Other than that, this movie was fantastic and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I liked looking around. Digging around after was a good time. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I hope you enjoyed the breakdown. Until the next one, take care of yourself, and see you in the next one.